So, ladies and gentlemen, you've now heard, that is, details of the strong legal case that is being put together to win compensation on your behalf, and the strategy that is being pursued to that end. Of course, this is not simply a campaign which is going to rely on the law. There are many other elements that are being put into it, and I'd like to talk to you about some of those now. We are using a campaign of public relations to raise awareness of the case and to attract members to our cause. So far, we have some 3,500 members here in the UK, and we have achieved something in the region of 1,000 articles in the national and regional press, drawing people's attention to what we are fighting for. We have been on television, we have been on the radio, we have been on Moneybox on Radio 4, and a host of other programmes. This is all building into a strong campaign which is raising awareness for itself nationwide. From time to time, of course, we must expect that there will be adverse publicity, and if this comes, it will probably come from a particular quarter, which will just surprise nobody, and that is Lloyds Bank itself. Nevertheless, this organisation has been open and transparent from its inception. It is in the process now of putting together a committee drawn from its membership to replace the interim committee that the founders set up. And this committee will be fully representative of the wider membership, and we invite you, if you choose to join us, to consider putting your name forward for election. You have seen the clip from Caroline Lucas MP for Brighton Pavilion, Britain's first Green MP, who we invited to the second of the meetings that we have held, which was obviously in Brighton. We did so because she was the sitting MP, not because we thought that she was going to be particularly supportive of us, but we were, I have to say, very thankful for the support that she unequivocally gave us, and which you will have heard of in the clip that was shown on the video earlier. Of course, she is not the only MP who has expressed support, and on the website you can see copies of letters that have been received as part of the campaign we have to ask all members to submit a letter, which again you will find on the website, to your sitting MP. The position, of course, of some MPs who in opposition were supportive of our campaign, but who now find themselves in government, is particularly interesting. And I refer there to Dr. Vince Cable, now the business secretary, who in opposition said that Lloyds shareholders were, quotes, sold a lemon over the HBOS merger. Caroline Lucas asked Dr. Cable, in his new role, what he was doing now he is in government to support the Lloyds shareholders. His answer was not very satisfactory, but he did say significantly that as far as he was concerned, the current independent commission on banking would be looking at this question. And so, as a result, another aspect of our campaign is to submit a dossier of evidence to the independent commission chaired by Sir John Vickers. Sir John Vickers has already publicly said in the Prince that he believes that the merger was not in the national interest, and that indeed competition law, which was altered through an instrument, through a parliamentary instrument rather than going through the formal procedures of Parliament, to alter competition law so that the merger should go ahead, was fundamentally wrong. So in addition to the legal campaign here in the UK, to the publicity campaign that we are mounting, and to the parliamentary campaign that we are waging, I now need to turn to a very significant aspect of our strategy, and that is to open up a legal case in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, in the United States there are 1,500 private shareholders like you who hold Lloyds TSB shares in their own name and on their own account. There are countless tens of thousands more American citizens who hold them through so-called ADRs, American Depository Receipts. We are in contact with two experienced class action law firms in America who will be bringing a case in the American courts in New York and possibly in Mississippi in the new year. The significance of this is that the American system is very different from the British system. It is a lot easier to advance a case of this nature in America than it is over here. In America, it is possible to advance a so-called class action, which works on an opt-out principle rather than an opt-in principle. This means that if a lawyer establishes a case in respect of one claimant in the United States, all other people who fall under that head and who are in a similar position to the original claimant can benefit from the judgment given in the American court. That is not the case here in the UK. This is a significant difference which I will speak about in more detail later. But another fundamental difference in the US system is that the courts are able to force the parties to a dispute into mediation, so-called alternative dispute resolution. This is what, of course, we are seeking to have here in the UK. This is what we expect will be resisted by Lloyds. However, imagine this situation where in America, American citizens are able to benefit from a mediation with the bank, but here in the UK, British citizens, shareholders of the bank, and indeed taxpayers are not afforded that same opportunity. We think it would be unconscionable of the bank to deny mediation here whilst having it in the United States. So let me touch on this other difference that I mentioned between the American and the British systems, and this is often a source of confusion, understandably, among people in the UK about what they can expect lawyers to do for them in a case of this nature. I said that the difference was between an opt-in system and an opt-out system. Well, in UK we have an opt-in system, and that means that to benefit from any judgment in the courts, you have to be a party to the action that is being heard. Or to benefit from any award made in mediation, you have to be a party to that mediation. That means that as we go forward, and if and when we are successful, in order for you to benefit from an award that is made on behalf of shareholders in Lloyds TSB, you need to be a party to the action. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, you really do need to join Lloyds action now. As the process goes forward, as we enter into mediation, one of the things that the other side will clearly want to know is who is it that they are negotiating with. That means they will want to know from us how many shareholders we represent and what attempts we have made to contact the whole of the shareholder base, some 800,000 people, in order to let them know of the case that we are bringing forward. To date, ladies and gentlemen, we have contacted by letter over 200,000 shareholders. We are going to be contacting some 20,000 nominee account holders, and at the end of this process, which is an expensive one, we will cover the whole 800,000 shareholder base. And certainly we will cover all those people who hold a sufficient number of shares to feel that it is worthwhile taking legal action to recover compensation.